What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Summer Spectrum recap here on the Spectrum Show, where we continue with part 2 of this episode.
That's right. We're finishing up the remaining reviews in this episode that we hadn't got to in part 1. In other words, if you haven't seen part 1 yet, go back and watch it, as there are other reviews you might be interested in, so go check that out.
And well, we've rambled on long enough and we've waited long enough, so let's get back to these.
Let's do it!
Welcome back, everyone. We are reviewing Ironheart next, the recently released Disney Plus TV series.
Yeah, so what was your opinion on this?
I really like this show.
Really?
For anyone, my first exposure to Ironheart, like actually reading in comics, was this run by Evel Ewing. I fell in love with not only this run and its writer, who I already mentioned, but I also adore just Riri in this and how she's characterized. And it feels like Shinaka Hodge, the main showrunner behind Ironheart, is also a fan of this run like me, because this is where stuff like Natalie as an AI comes into existence for the first time.
Yeah, honestly.
This is where like the magic angle with Riri starts to be a thing. A lot of stuff the show does comes from here.
Yeah, if I'm being honest with you, this one, I enjoyed it, but it was a hard one to watch for me. It took me so long to finish this series.
I binged it in 2 nights.
Well, I'm glad you did.
So. I lost sleep over it, and honestly, I'd say in this case it was worth it. I really enjoyed what I watched. So,
all right.
My main excitement going into this, though, was actually not Riri at first. It was this funny guy, Parker Robbins, the Hood.
Who actually did
He's one of my favorite kind of obscure Marvel villains.
He was done well in this.
I really, even though his backstory is pretty substantially different from the comics one, I feel like they get the point of the character very well. It's an adaptational change that makes sense, because in the end, he is still someone who is ultimately pathetic and grasping for power at the cost of everything around him. In the comics, it's like his wife and kid who he ends up driving away. In this, it's like the kind of found family he had in his gang.
Yeah, and honestly, I really enjoyed Anthony Ramos and Dominique Thorne's performances.
Anthony Ramos and Dominique Thorne were both pitch perfect in these roles. Yeah. I actually did not see Wakanda Forever going into this, but I found
You didn't see Wakanda Forever?
Yeah, I haven't yet. I
think you'd really like it.
Yeah, I think I would. I found it was very easy in getting me caught up in that, which I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
Gets into Riri's head very quickly. We get why she's here, what she's doing.
Yeah,
and
they did it. They actually did a really good job with that.
One thing I'm fascinated by is the choices of villains for Hood's gang, because
there's some.
So there's Slug, who was originally an extremely fat Captain America villain.
Oh yeah, Yes, you're right. That is.
There's Clown, who was who shares the name of a Circus of Crime villain. That's like a circus themed.
I think I know who you're talking about.
There's Rampage, who was an original Champions villain turned Punisher villain who impersonated Jigsaw for a bit.
Huh.
The weirdest one, John King is actually just like Hood's bestie in the comics too. They straight up adapted him like almost 1-to-1.
Yeah.
And the weirdest one, the Blood siblings. They are based on the Blood Brothers, 2 of Thanos' minions from his literal first appearance in comics, which is honestly quite funny considering Thanos' first appearance, as well as the Blood Brothers, was in Iron Man issue 55.
That's crazy.
So they are technically Iron Man characters.
And we also got introduced to Obadiah Stane's son, Ezekiel Stane, as well.
Ezekiel actually debuts in this run right here by Matt Fraction.
Yeah,
I really liked him in this. Once again, another actor from Weapons being in a really good MCU thing this year.
Oh yeah, was he in Weapons?
He's the cop in Weapons. Yeah.
Yeah,
and Julia Garner, Silver Surfer, is the main girl. So.
Okay. Anyway, but
I really like Ezekiel Stane in this. Like the whole thing of I want to do everything in my power to not be like my father.
Yeah.
Like with everything I essentially, and like the fact that in the end he ultimately gets, like, since this show I'm not sure if it was established before, but in this show it is like explicitly clear that no one knows Obadiah Stane from the first Iron Man movie is a piece of crap.
Yeah, but anyway.
Nobody knows he's like a supervillain who tried to kill Tony Stark. They just think he died in a plane accident. So when Ezekiel ends up getting busted, no, he already knew this.
Oh, okay.
He ends up getting busted for like a pretty serious crime in this, and the news is all like, "Oh, this is gonna taint the good name of the Stane family," and I'm like, "Oh my God,
I never did."
I feel so awful for Ezekiel here. Like everything he tried to do ultimately turned out to be a failure, and he just gets driven down that path through this, connected to Parker. And it's another genuine consequence that Riri just has to live with.
Yeah, so why don't we quickly get into the plot? Because
Riri coming back home, gets kicked out of MIT, comes back home to Chicago, and ends up needing some funds for her inventions, ends up falling in with the Hood, who is a very charismatic, kind of like new age, not really new age, kind of like young influencer guy who is a magic cloak that gives him superpowers and leads a gang that are sabotaging like these big corporations who are messing with the city. But it turns out that isn't even his actual goal. His goal is to just sabotage the corporations his dad owns in order to try and get the life of a Nepo baby he was denied.
Yeah, and it ends up in the most wild way possible. We get to see at the final episode.
Before we do that, Riri in this show makes a lot of notable sacrifices that I really appreciate seeing in this content.
Yeah, she really does, honestly.
Like, there's a lot of stuff here that goes horribly wrong, and she kind of just has to live with it, and I appreciate that. Like, there's a lot of emphasis on like her not being a perfect person, and but yet trying to do what she thinks is right throughout it all, and as that goes on, stuff ends up kind of getting significantly worse.
Yeah.
I will say, I love Natalie's actress in this.
Yeah, she was great.
She did a great job, both as like real Natalie and as the AI Natalie. I also really enjoyed how like they work off each other. The actors do.
Yeah,
they're really cool.
But we need to talk about the final surprise they had for this.
Mephisto is the ultimate bad guy of a sense in this show.
Played by Sacha Baron Cohen.
I was not expecting him to be so terrifying.
He actually
I thought I would be able to. I thought I would look at him and see, oh, that's Borat. I looked at him and like, oh no, that's the devil. I want to get away.
He has some range in this. It's kind of
He's
cool.
terrifying. I don't want to be around him, man.
Yeah, and the thing that we thought that he was going to appear in WandaVision at the end of this.
I kind of love that he appears in this actually, because not only does he fit well with the Hood's whole like narrative of like him trying to appeal to those. Like, in a way, the Hood is just kind of a lesser Mephisto in this, and I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Like, Mephisto's whole deal is finding the downtrodden and bring them under his thing so he can, like, manipulate them
and
with the promise of what they want. And that's the same thing the Hood is doing to, like, his gang and to Riri.
And
Ezekiel even, you know?
And now for the post-credit scene, I think the Hood has to join up with...
I really like Zelma Stanton in this as a supporting character. She actually originated in Jason Aaron's Doctor Strange run, but is more notable in Strange Academy by Scotty Young.
Isn't that getting a series at some point?
It is rumored to get one, and this would be a pretty neat setup for it.
Yeah, I mean, that means the Hood can probably be in it too, probably. And
that'd actually be a really fun like mashup. I'd love to see some kids beat him to a pulp.
But anyways, comic
book recommendations quickly. This one is solely here because the Blood Brothers, who were the basis of the Blood Sibs, is in it, and I thought it would be funny to bring it because of that. This is the original Hood stuff, like going from his becoming a supervillain to the time in the comics when he messed up and lost everything with his family.
Yep.
Here's a story just of the Hood trying a scheme to get power back and fighting the Avengers in the process.
The new Avengers.
This is the run you should read if you liked this show, or even if you haven't seen it. Just read this run. This is Eve L. Ewing's Ironheart, and it's one of my favorite comic series. This is just an Iron Man focused series that has Riri in a prominent role in it. This is the run where Ezekiel Stane debuts. It's also available in the Iron Man Modern Era Epic collections. And lastly, if you want more of Zelma Stanton and the kind of magic side of things, Strange Academy, which is a very fun little series that appeals to a lot of different age demos, and it's just kind of cool.
It's spooky, but anyway.
I really love Ironheart. I'm glad I sat down to watch it, and I hope you guys give it a shot, actually.
Honestly, I might have to rewatch it at this point, considering that how much you like the series. I might have to rewatch it, honestly.
I'm planning on showing Sean at least some of it.
All right, so we'll be right back, guys. We'll see you guys for our next review.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Now we take a little detour onto Dinosaur Island, which we swore we'd never go back to in concert with, I think, what was that one Australian songwriter's name? Can't remember his name. Anyways, Jurassic World.
Jurassic World Rebirth, to be specific. The fourth entry in the Jurassic World franchise.
Tom Hardy, that was his name. Anyway, back to Dinosaur Island.
Yeah, so, if I'm being honest with you, I wasn't, like, It was fine. It wasn't anything spectacular though.
I mean, yeah, it's good. Like I enjoyed it.
It's better than the last one for sure.
I mean, the last one wasn't even about dinosaurs. It was about locusts or bugs. It's some kind of bugs.
Well then, that's unfortunate.
Well,
But
yeah,
anyway,
that's why no one liked it.
fair enough. But yeah, honestly, this definitely was felt more Jurassic World-y.
I mean, like, this one does its job. It gave me dinosaurs. I wanted to see dinosaurs. That's what it advertised. It delivered.
fair enough. Yeah, and honestly, like, so do you want to explain the plot of this one?
I mean, basically, at this point, dinosaurs are just kind of all, like, old hat for everyone. They're dying out. No one's really interested in them anymore. But, you know, there's this business guy, right? And he's like, look, we got to go to Dinosaur Island again.
Costa Rica.
Yeah, because, you know, we want to cure heart disease forever. So we got to get, like, DNA from all these dinosaurs, man.
Yeah,
like
across air, land, and
like
sea.
across air, land, and sea. We got to get these dinosaurs' DNA to cure heart disease forever. So he's getting together a team, man.
Which includes Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, and Jonathan Bailey, who I think wasn't he in Wicked?
I think so. Wasn't he like Firo?
Yeah, I think he was. But yeah, honestly, good cast, honestly.
Yeah, good cast. And along the way, they answer a distress signal from a family who, you know,
Obviously, they get involved somehow.
yeah, no, well, the family just was on vacation and they, you know, went too close to Dinosaur Island and like they pick him up, but you know, the business guy's like, oh, he's
There's always
like,
some
just-
corrupt business guy.
Yeah, no, he's like, we can't go back, and I'm not gonna, you know, save you or whatever. Like, he's a bad dude.
Yeah,
and
kinda
so
predictable,
now,
but-
and they're shipwrecked, and they're stuck on Dinosaur Island.
Pretty much, yeah. It's pretty
So
self-explanatory.
you know, they
but-
got to get the DNA, get off Dinosaur Island. Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, pretty self-explanatory, but it does its job, basically.
Yeah, no, like. What is advertised is what you received. It's a movie about a bunch of people with guns going to, you know, kind of sort of fight dinosaurs and get off the island. That's what you get.
Yeah, and there's... The one thing I will say that's a little bit crazy is that there were some mutated ones towards the end that were kind of creepy
I
looking.
mean, don't they like...
It was like the original...
Wasn't this like what they advertised Jurassic World with, kind of?
Yeah, but I guess they kind of did, but like... And it's like, the island is basically the original location for the original Jurassic Park, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, no, and everything went belly up because some guy dropped a candy bar wrapper in the vents, which is probably the dumbest explanation for why one of these places went south.
But it's what happened.
It's what happened.
It's kind of absurd, honestly.
Yeah, no, like, but, and honestly, this movie is so afraid of having stakes that you can basically tell at the ending the exact point where audiences went, I wish Mahershala Ali didn't die.
Yeah, I honestly was expecting him to be dead, honestly, by the end
Yeah,
of
no,
this.
I'm like 90% sure that test audiences were like, I like Mahershala Ali too much and was sad when he died, because having an honest emotional reaction to a character you like not living is apparently verboten now. Like,
Yeah.
we can't do it.
Yeah, but not all the time, but sometimes. But a lot of the time.
I mean, like, this is a fairly standard example of this, though, and honestly, like, the movie's decent, but it's not good enough to really warrant that kind of emotional anguish.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, because I didn't really feel that many emotions during this
I
film.
mean, like, that being said, like, the action scenes are good, they get good mileage out of the dinos, the characters are all right and well performed. I did like the family. Like, it does just kind of feel like a sequence, like a bunch of, like, sort of, like, sequential dinosaur sequences, though.
Yeah, like, the pacing's a little off, I will say.
I mean, like, the pacing is basically just, like, this is an honestly average movie. Like,
Yeah.
And I mean honestly in the sense of it makes no attempt to convince you that it is
Like-
something more than
Like,
it is.
it's like, it purposely gives it that. Like, but I don't think there's gonna be another one for a while.
I mean, there's
don't
like
think.
a bit of commentary about like the for-profit pharmaceutical industry, but it's not terribly interesting.
It's not front and center, I know.
You know, like it's just sort of an element that's brought up. You know, again, like, you know, again, this is sort of like, you know, Ballerina, where there's really nothing super egregiously awful about it. Like,
But nothing spectacular either.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree
And-
with that. And I
and-
think more so than Ballerina, I think.
And, you know, what this lacks in Ballerina's, you know, sort of very visceral sense of action, this
Yeah.
has, you know, more scale because of the
Yeah.
dinosaurs.
Yeah, like more like intense action, I guess is. But like
Well,
that's
not intent. Like it's a scale thing.
Yeah,
like,
it's like oh, like this guy means business, kind of.
yeah,
this
no,
thing
like
means business.
there's a different kind of intensity to some super hopped up assassin walking in the room than oh nuts, there's a dinosaur looming over me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Because like it's a force in nature. Like
Yeah, like nature is different than an actual like people trying to hunt you down, basically.
yeah. So yeah, this is like a 6 to a 7, really. Like
Yeah,
a 3-star to a 3-star to 3.5.
6.5 to me, like me in the middle.
Yeah. So
Honestly,
it's
there's
really not much to say because it's a movie that doesn't really pretend it's saying much.
Yeah, it's just what you see is what you get, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, to be fair.
I mean, like the movie does well because kids love dinosaurs.
Yeah, of course. And I will say this though, one last thing. I feel like the interest in dinosaurs because of these movies is kind of going down. Maybe it's just me, but like
No, it isn't. This movie is doing like I tried not to mention this because another reviewer basically mentioned this, and I don't want to like just crib his points, but like these movies are doing fine for themselves.
Yeah, but I just feel like maybe it's just my circle of people, I guess, but I just don't see many people talking about it anymore. But maybe I'm just going crazy, to be fair.
You know, like I don't like. I mean, like that's because you have a limited frame of reference. Like Film Intelligista is basically film in Intelligista and like film like. I mean, I was stuck in this too. Like Film Intelligista, like people who intensely pay attention to movies. As far as they're concerned, Jurassic Park is over because the last movie was about bugs and everyone agreed that was bad.
Yeah, that's
but
not
like
true.
the fact of the matter is, like as Bob Chipman said, people like still show up for these movies.
True, yeah.
Like they make bank.
I mean, yeah, but it just feels like not much as it used. Like after, I think the last like really really great one in my opinion was the 2015 Jurassic World because like.
Well, I don't know. I think the last great Jurassic Park movie was Jurassic Park, but that's just me.
Well, I liked the 2015 one quite a bit, honestly. I saw it in theaters like 3 times because it was.
Wow.
Yeah, because it was quality for what it was, to be fair. But anyways, I think we need to wrap up this discussion because we've been rambling on with this one a little too long.
Yeah.
And so
Jurassic World, you're probably gonna go see it anyway because your kids like dinosaurs.
fair enough. And with that, we're gonna take a little break. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone. Now we have even more comics.
Yes, we do. And as you can tell from the lineup, we've switched studios and we switched up just everything basically. And we're going to be talking about Superman, easily the biggest movie this summer. Let's be real.
And this is rather befitting the biggest first superhero in history, really. There's a lot of comics, and there's also a lot of guys in this movie.
No pun intended.
We'll get into the recommendations later. Let's talk about the movie itself. What did you guys think of Superman?
Fantastic.
I quite
pun
enjoyed it.
intended.
I quite enjoyed it. I've seen it twice in theaters at this point,
I still need to see my second
I
time.
do think it's a very idiosyncratic movie. It's
Good
not.
word there.
It's not conventionally paced. It does have a few weird things about its pacing that I think might offset some other people, but I kind of like because it leans into a sort of comic book lens that I'll discuss later.
Exactly.
Honestly, the pacing is the least of my problems.
And as Jackson has already informed me,
I don't like Superman much at all like this movie. I wasn't much of a fan of it.
Really?
yeah, no, we've discussed this. We've had polite and rational debate with each other.
And I
Fair
will
enough.
remain civilized throughout this review.
Well, thank you for that.
And anyway, okay, so starting out with the plot, this is a Superman who's,
Been around for a bit.
he's been around for about 3 years or so. He's the strongest metahuman on Earth, kind of just cruising through life. And one day he, decides to stop an international conflict between Moravia and Jahanapur, two nations that are like Eastern Europe, Middle East coded, and but subsequently finds himself beaten to a pulp by a Moravian-themed superhero. And little does he know that this is actually part of an evil scheme by Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor
Who I loved, by the way.
to discredit him and finally secure his place as as having saved humanity against the alien threat of Superman. Now Superman must deal with threats to his public image and legacy and morality in a series of events that put him in contact with Maxwell Lord's Justice Gang and quite a few other things that are rather goofy.
We didn't bring in the Authority.
I will say, that must be why they called it Superman Legacy, because he's trying to destroy.
Well, I mean, yeah, like Superman, I mean, it's called Legacy. It was probably called Legacy because it was focused on Superman's family as like, you know, a thematic point in why he does what he does. But anyway, getting into the characters, I do kind of. David Corenswet doesn't play my ideal Superman. Like, he plays kind of a younger, kind of figuring himself out Superman.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit like, you know, maybe a bit like too confident in what he does, but still generally meaning well and genuinely holding you know, the right beliefs about things.
I don't really think he's I kind of wish there was a bit more like. I like the parts where he slips into the more angry Superman, like the kind that evokes Morrison's like Action Comics run. I kind of wish there was a bit more of that in this movie because he doesn't really have much to define him in general for me.
I thought he was fantastic, honestly.
I mean, I enjoy him even though he's not my ideal Superman because I'm used to differing interpretations. Like, he's not even written consistently across all of these comics that we have right here.
Yeah. We'll get into that later.
I do enjoy him. I do think Brosnahan plays Lois well,
Yes,
and I think they've done a better job here integrating her subplot and having more consequence on its own. Though I do think they maybe missed some opportunity in having her not interact with Corenswet more and playing a bit more with their specific conflict and interplay.
I kind of wish that Lois got to be at least a little bit right about that interview they were having because that scene is a highlight of the movie early on, and throughout the rest of the movie is just, oh, Clark was just completely right in that scene.
I mean, I do kind of get that, but I also do agree with like the general sentiment of the movie of like the idea that like when people do bad, you just kind of have to let it happen, but for some reason we let good intentions get caught up in, you know, unnecessary red tape. And like, I do get that you can read that like in a sort of progressive way, but also in a sort of reactionary way. I get that, but I do think it's dramatically coherent in a way.
Yeah, I just kind of wish they paid off that scene a bit more, you know?
And as for the supporting cast, there is a lot to get through. We have Maxwell Lord's Justice Gang, who's sort of like a slightly meaner take on the Justice League, inspired by J.M. DeMatteis and Keith Giffen's Justice League International.
They've got a bit of Authority DNA in them, too.
Yeah, no, well, I don't know. I don't think they're explicitly Authority, even though we do actually have, like, the engineer from the Authority is sort of a side, as like a Lex Luthor hench.
Oh, really?
Yes, the engineer is a character from the Authority.
I'm going to be honest. There's like a million of... You could have just had like Metallo or something in that role and it would have made more sense.
I do like the Justice... I do think the Justice Gang's primary purpose here is world building and just like a sense of history.
Yeah.
Like, Superman like has problems with how they do things, but is, you know, generally has a working relationship with them, essentially.
I kind of wish the character selection on the Justice Gang was a bit better, too. Like, they don't really feel like they have a deliberate... A lot of their roles feel like they could have been filled by other characters, and in some cases filled better by other characters.
I mean, you know where I stand, and you know where a lot of people stand on Mr. Terrific specifically.
Yeah, I liked him a lot.
Mr. Terrific is kind of the highlight here, and I especially like how he parallels with Lex. Lex in here sort of takes elements of All-Star Superman's, like, I hate how Superman was born, you know, naturally strong, sort of thing, like in the prison scene, though unlike that Lex, he isn't jacked. And here it's explicitly sort of a thematic thing in relation to his masculinity. He keeps going on about how brain beats brawn, but he like keeps surrounding himself with women he thinks are beneath them and like gets mad when they don't like him.
Okay, so can I just say Lex is the one part of this movie I have like no problems with whatsoever.
Yes.
Holt is like genuinely unhinged in this.
Yes.
He's 1A! He's mugging constantly. He's really just letting it loose. And I like how he parallels with Mr. Terrific as Superman makes us all look inadequate. We are ants before him, and all I can do is clone him and beat him up with his clone to save this world from him. And Mr. Terrific is just kind of here being awesome, doing the thing that Lex could do if he actually wanted to apply himself.
Having kind of a weaker version of the fight scene from Guardians 2 with Yondu.
I mean,
it's still a decent fight scene. It's not like, it doesn't hit the heights.
I mean, I still really enjoyed it.
Okay, time to get into the big the big divergence. We gotta talk about it.
Okay, this is a plot point that I don't like, and I'm not going to go into detail about the real world parallels. Like, if you know, you know, but I do think maybe it was somewhat ill-considered to make Jor-El secretly evil and wanting to Superman to repopulate the Kryptonian race and take as many wives as he can.
That was a crazy twist.
They made the Kryptonians into Viltrumites.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not going to get too explicit about it, but like it echoes a lot of real-world sentiment about like, you know, people like disadvantaged or marginalized people in our current political climate. And I understand that James Gunn is well-intentioned. He's clearly not of the belief that like your national origin defines who you are, and really does want to put forth a very, you know, message about people being able to show kindness to one another regardless of where they come from. But also, like, you know,
that was bold.
It's bold, but like, you know, it just kind of feels like we know we live in a post-Invincible world, so we feel like we have to do this bit of revisionism.
I do find it kind of funny that he said in an interview, comics like Birthright have done this before, and then the plot of Birthright involves something that is being faked in the same way as it's just real.
I haven't seen that interview. I'll need to double check that, but yeah, if that is what he said, that isn't how Birthright went. In general, the movie is actually a huge mashup of a lot of different Superman elements.
It's trying to draw a bunch of different, in my opinion, it's trying to draw a bunch of different elements together and not really understanding why a lot of them work the way they do.
I think it reaches a more like reasonable synthesis than you, but like agree to disagree.
Yeah. Can we also talk about Crypto for a moment?
Crypto,
I'm tired of that dog.
Really?
I mean, I think he's just funny.
I was bored of him by the end of the movie. His shtick got old after like 2 times for me.
Well, but I will say about the ending, it kind of did set up something that's coming next year.
I will spare my criticisms of Supergirl and Eve in this review, but the Supergirl stuff in the ending just does not read well with me with all the stuff we've been talking about.
I mean, that is kind of how she's characterized in Woman of Tomorrow, which they are explicitly adapting.
I know, but also
That's
like
true.
the way it's framed after the movie we've just watched feels kind of rough, you know?
I mean, to each their own. Anyway, since this is like, you know, it is a mashup of a lot of different Superman stuff. Like there's some broad stroke stuff from Superman Birthright, All-Star Superman.
They mainly lift that aesthetically.
Yeah, All-Star Superman has like the Superman robots in their role and like Lex Luthor's general disposition. There's a lot of like Champion of the Oppressed stuff from the original Superman.
The Hammer of Baravia is in this.
Well, I don't know if the Hammer of Baravia is an invention, but like the Baravia storyline is in this.
Yeah, the Baravia stuff is in this.
Yeah.
And like the Justice Gang is the Justice League International, etc., etc. Like
We gotta get into recommendations.
and
guys.
yeah, if you want some like Champion of the Oppressed Superman, Grant Morrison, Siegel Schuster, and especially Smashes the Klan.
And Absolute Superman, which recently dropped.
And I would argue that there is, you know, less unfortunate implications in those. If you want like a
Absolute does have a few, but we're not going to get into that.
Superman Birthright is a really strong origin story. Mark Waid likes the movie, but he's also not super hot on the Jor-El twist.
Considering it's just a version of his book, but kind of worse.
Lois Lane, Enemy of the People, is a fun Lois Lane story. Jimmy Olsen, Who Killed Jimmy Olsen, is a very, very, very funny Jimmy Olsen story. If you want more from like the Justice Gang, Dave Gibbons, Jeff Johns, and Peter Tomasi have written some Green Lantern Corps. Jadzia Axelrod did a pretty great Hot Girl miniseries.
This one's even set in Metropolis.
And although Batman isn't in this, his Batman Superman World's Finest has a very, very, very fun dynamic between the two and a lot of good Silver Age, Bronze Age sensibilities. And Justice League International is the premier funny Justice League book. If you like the Justice Gang in this, that's your thing. And although we weren't able to get him, Metamorpho has a DC Finest collection out and an upcoming trade paperback for a miniseries by Al Ewing. Don't miss it. Anyway,
same artist as Jimmy Olsen on that.
Anyway,
actually.
we got a lot more to get. We've got so much to get to.
So let's keep it rolling. We'll be right back, folks. Welcome back, everyone. We are the cast of The Spectrum Show, and it's time to move on to one of our biggest reviews of the year. It is
3,
everybody
2,
now.
1.
Fantastic Four. First steps.
Thank you, Michael Giacchino.
Oh, that soundtrack is so good.
He was the composer.
Yeah,
right?
he
it was
was.
Michael
And he,
Giacchino,
does,
yeah.
he does funny stuff like that in a bunch of his songs. I think Werewolf by Night has some goofy stuff in its soundtrack.
Famously, the director of Werewolf by Night.
But anyhow,
Not
what
for-
do we think of this movie?
Not Matt Shackman. Matt Shackman directed this. Giacchino directed Werewolf
and
by
Matt
Night.
Shackman did a fantastic job.
This
this-
is my favorite superhero movie of the year.
Agreed.
This is a really good time. It's not
saying something for a
it's one of
Fantastic
those
Four film.
It's one of those things that's not going to reinvent the wheel, but like it is a strong, really solid example of just a great, solid superhero movie that also just doesn't like feel the need to be an action movie. This is really more of a disaster movie with like an action scene here and there.
Yeah, and I will just say right now, Matt Shackman, like I said it already, but he did a fantastic job, and I think WandaVision definitely helped with that because it's also a period piece.
Yeah.
I'm actually, our main experience with Shackman is actually from a little show called It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
We cannot describe most of the things that happen in that show.
However, he directed one episode in that was done all on one take and was amazing.
Thank you, Charlie work.
Anyway, so let's go into the plot of this because it's
Fantastic
awesome.
Four is actually kind of similar to Superman in how it starts out, where we get a recap of this superhero family having been around for at least a little bit of time before the events of the movie.
And from there, it actually goes into a relatively, as far as these things go, pretty straightforward adaptation of the original Galactus story, with the complication that this is around the time that Franklin Richards is being born, whereas it took a
Yeah.
bit longer in the actual comics for
I
him.
really like how they set that
be
up in
born.
this movie, and
Yes.
how it ties into a lot of the coolest stuff with Franklin in the comics itself.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, in the comics, Franklin is literally destined from birth to become the next Galactus. When the universe as we know it in the Marvel Universe dies, Galactus will pass on his power to Franklin, and he will be the only one to survive into whatever comes next.
In the comics, where Galactus has,
power
more of
cosmic.
Yeah.
Galactus has more of a cordial working relationship with the people of Earth, so they're basically fine with this. But in this, Galactus is still in his full-on Devourer of Worlds, no mercy phase. So when he basically asks for Franklin to replace him early so his hunger can finally be sated and his suffering be over, the Four have to find a way to, deal with that and to find a way to save the Earth and Franklin.
I like how the main plot of this movie, like the essential main goal of it is, we won't scapegoat anyone. We're not making compromises. We're going to save everybody.
Yeah, and they do.
And
It's like, the third track on the trolley problem that no one knew existed.
yeah, it's like they're trying to find a secret track on the trolley problem that can make sure no one has to die. They don't I love the FF in this movie just for their convictions as heroes. They have some of the best I've seen in like a superhero film.
And as far as like
casting.
the cast and characters go,
It's a much older cast too.
I mean, I'm fine with that. I really like the interplay here. I think this is probably the closest anyone has gotten to really getting Reed. In the comics, Reed's entire deal is that he's super smart, and while he does have a real great well of goodwill and like good intentions within him, he has to balance that between of assessing a situation from what he sees as an objective standpoint, and balance that against his obligations to his family and friends, who he really does love, but but there's always that nagging voice in the back of his head that tells him that there's higher callings.
Okay, so I was outright on the verge of tears when he gives the little speech to Franklin and says, "I hope you're nothing like me."
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, no, because
This is actually a pretty notable thing for Spectrum as general, because Reed in this movie reads extremely neurodivergent.
and that is something that has been done, especially in recent comics like Ryan North's run. But it's always, it has been something that people have latched onto over the years.
And in this movie, a lot of how he acts in this movie really resonated with me personally, which is part of why I adore it so much.
He has a really good dynamic with Vanessa Kirby, who's really
Pedro Pascal, by the way, we're referring to.
Yeah.
Vanessa.
I refuse to believe Pascal didn't know about the Reed autistic stuff, because I feel like he's playing into it in a way you could only do if you knew.
Kirby also has a really strong showing here.
100%.
She's in full mama bear mode, and she really sells it.
The
100%.
scene of her confronting those protesters with baby Franklin is one of my favorites
But
in the entire
yes,
film.
like
100%.
when I first saw the moment in the trailers where we're confronting it as a family, I'm like, okay, you got to get that out of the way. That's like the whole theme of the Fantastic Four. But when you see when you see what the context is in the movie and how they place it, it's like, oh, I get it now.
Yes,
They found
exactly
an amazing setup for it.
Yeah, what do we think about the other two Fantastic?
John, this is
the best Johnny. This is the best Johnny.
Yes,
this is the best everyone because the other Fantastic Four movies are bad.
Yeah,
just
this is
Pedro,
this is
Vanessa,
just
Joseph Quinn, and Emma Moss.
But Joseph Quinn is actually very surprising.
I was
here.
I was the most skeptical on his casting compared to everyone else. He is my favorite member of the FF in this movie. He is
so good.
Like they managed to have that perfect balance of this is kind of a younger guy than the rest of the group,
but he's still smart,
kind of figuring himself out, and maybe is a bit too impulsive and emotionally driven,
and has some issues around women.
But but he actually does have an angle. He's a linguist in this.
Yeah,
and
it's great, honestly.
And his relationship with the Silver Surfer actually manages to thread two interesting needles from the comics.
If anyone is curious, a lot of elements of Julia Garner's Silver Surfer from this, even though she is in the movie Shala Ball, her character draws a lot from Frankie Ray, the granddaughter of the scientist who made the original Human Torch, and who became a Herald of Galactus as Nova in the comics during the John Byrne run, and became a main character throughout Englehart's saga on Silver Surfer.
I absolutely loved Silver Surfer in this. She was so good.
Top 5 MCU villains.
Yeah,
honestly.
no, Silver Surfer in this is really good. She's at the center of, like I said, and several other critics like Bob Chipman and I assume various others have said this is a disaster movie, but there are some fun action set pieces, the most notable of which is a spaceship chase against the Silver Surfer.
Her trying to reach into Sue's womb to steal Franklin
that's unhinged.
I got scared in the theater.
Yeah, no, and Sue's like, you kill her, and I'm like, yeah, no, I would be like that, and it's just really tense, and there's a lot of interplay of various problems.
She's
they have
an
to solve.
unstoppable god who serves an unstoppable god.
Innocent also has really great presence as Galactus.
Yes, and they did Galactus right.
Gonna talk about another thing I really
helmet
like.
and all.
Yeah,
another thing I really like about Silver Surfer in this. Speaking of stuff compared to her with Frankie Ray, not only does she have the whole Johnny romance thing, they also draw an element from her that's in the Engelhart stuff where Frankie is a little too gung-ho to be a Herald of Galactus, and this kind of follows into Shala Ball, where she's essentially, in exchange for letting her planet be safe, she's allowed countless others to suffer, which is kind of the similar thing Frankie does in this, but has to be snapped out of, essentially has to be told hey, what you're doing is
wrong,
killing so many people, you sacrificed your individuality to spare your planet from this, and now you are doing it to countless civilizations that couldn't fight back against you.
And they actually mentioned Zen-La in this, right?
Yeah, Zen-La, we see in flashbacks.
They actually mentioned a lot of deep cut villains too. They mentioned Diablo, Wizard, Puppet Master,
Red Ghost and his monkeys.
Super apes.
They did cut out John Malkovich's Red Ghost, unfortunately.
I know. But we saw a surprising amount of Mole Man too. Surprisingly, he was
scene with Johnny confronting Silver Surfer Shala Ball in the city square. I was flabbergasted at how good the delivery on both Joseph Quinn and Julia Garner was in that specific scene.
The one character who kind of doesn't get much to do in this is Eben Moss-Bacroc as the Thing. He's quite good in it, and the Thing looks good.
I like his beard a lot.
It's just you get the feeling that he was the subject of a lot of cuts in the edit.
I feel like my ultimate thing is I'm kind of okay with this because the Thing has long been the guy in the FF you focus on for stuff, and
he's my favorite, so I can't complain.
Yeah, he's a lot of people's favorite, and a lot of the time other members kind of seemingly get pushed to the side for him. A big example of this is Dan Slott's Fantastic Four. Writes a great Ben. Pretty much every other member of the team suffers in that run due to him focusing on writing Ben.
Okay,
whereas in this movie, it feels like Reed, Johnny, and Sue get a lot more to do in that context, and I like it a lot.
And it feels like it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, and we need to talk about specifically the mid-credit scene because I want to set this one up.
I have been critical of the casting decisions surrounding this for a while. Jackson has also been critical.
Yes,
and Spencer has too.
I have, but after seeing this, I'm because if they were gonna do this, they needed to start setting it up now and And let me tell you,
When it hits,
they
it
did.
when it hits, it hits.
And
After the entire movie, the reason it works so well for me is after the entire movie is like the FF working through all this to save everyone, and especially like Franklin, their newest member of the family. You see Doom about to like take him, and you are terrified.
Yeah, no, it's like red lights flashing and
It's
and it's Sue who's the one who sees him doing it, and you're like, oh my god.
And let
it's
me just
like,
say, he's so scary.
And like, whether or not Avengers Doomsday will be any good, that's
It's
up
an
in, that's up in
excellent
the air.
introduction to Doom.
And I like how they didn't show his face too, because like.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
What,
it's
you think they're
someone
gonna
else.
get? You think they're gonna get?
No, I think it was RDJ on set.
I know, but
actually.
I can imagine someone else since they didn't show his face.
But yeah,
I mean,
but the average moviegoer would be like, oh, who is under the mask? of that?
Either way, we are all in agreement. This is a really fun time. As for recommendations,
This is the original Galactus saga. There's also a cheaper trade for this called the Fantastic Four versus Galactus that collects both this and the John Byrne Galactus arc, which introduces Frankie Ray as a herald.
if you're looking for like themes of like Reed realizing he needs to nurture the future vis-a-vis his children, including also Valeria Richards in this one. They've named the Hickman run as a major inspiration. If you're just like really into the family dynamic and are up for some episodic stories, Ryan North's currently ongoing run is excellent.
If you want more of the movie's whole existential dread theme around Galactus, Fantastic Four Life Story is a great case of it. They also cited this as an inspiration for the movie. If you want like some Sue solo adventures, there's this great little run by Mark Waid. There's also plenty of solo stuff for Ben and Johnny. Sadly, not much for Reed.
He just has a prequel comic by Peter David.
If you want more on like the Silver Surfer and the other inspiration for this movie, Silver Surfer, the Englehart run collected starting in this Silver Surfer Epic collection is a great place to go. It has a lot of neat stuff. And if you just want to see the first time Shia LaBeouf was Silver Surfer alongside a bunch of other weird alterations to the Marvel Universe, Earth X by Alex Ross, and the artist of Kingdom Come, and writer Jim Kruger is a really fun one to check out too.
It is buck wild, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Daredevil, this is Spider-Woman / Venom,
And so on and so forth.
And that guy's Captain America.
Also, the Submariner is half on fire.
You can see him right there, actually.
Yeah.
Anyways,
we need to.
I kind of wish Submariner made like a cameo in this movie or something.
Well, he's gonna be in Doomsday, so.
Well, is he?
Yeah, Tenoch
Feels
Huerta's
like
gonna be in it.
Feels like they're announcing new cast members
Get your
every other
hands
week.
off my wife and Reed like slingshots into him.
Anyway.
Anyways, we need to wrap up because we have a few more.
All right,
reviews we gotta
everybody.
do.
But yeah, great comics, great movie. We'll be right back.
Yeah, see you in a bit.
Oh, hey, Nick Dragata from Absolute Batman.
Oh yeah, he did work on that.
Welcome back, everyone. We're the cast of the Spectrum Show. It's time to move on to our last of the Marvel reviews, and that is Eyes of Wakanda, a Disney Plus series that is streaming like as of a couple weeks ago at this point.
Yeah, I mean, not that a lot of people know about it, considering Disney didn't advertise it.
Not terribly, not terribly, but it was honestly a solid animated series.
The main thing that lets it down is that it's just 4 episodes.
Yeah,
You kind of get the feeling that they were locked into producing this, but didn't have a lot of confidence in it, but were far enough along into production that they wanted something they could release, and 4 episodes was the minimum for that. That being said, they're 4 pretty good episodes.
Yeah, they're pretty solid, honestly. So, and it basically, you want to set this up or?
Okay, so the 4 episodes of Eyes of Wakanda are 4 separate stories that each have the common theme of following a member of Wakanda's war dogs, or the Hattusarase. Their job is essentially to keep Wakanda a secret from the world, and this show is about how they've done that throughout history, mainly by recovering Wakandan vibranium artifacts.
Yeah, that's pretty much it right there, and it works.
I thought okay, and for that there's 4 stories. The first episode I was kind of on. It was pretty
Same.
basic. It was just mostly action and just kind of setting up the Hattusarase as a concept.
Yeah.
The second one picked things up. It's ancient Greece, where the character Memnon from from Homer's Trojan War stuff is established to actually be a Wakandan war dog agent who is caught between fighting with Achilles and Odysseus for the war on Troy and fulfilling his mission.
Yep.
The third episode follows a hotshot war dog who's tasked with venturing to China to retrieve an artifact, but accidentally brings back an unexpected visitor who we'll get into later. And the fourth one is a bit of a
Convoluted
a bit of a like a change in pace or like a change in like focus,
Yeah, but
where it's two war dogs, one of them being a prince, who are
The other one being more of a soldier.
who are on the middle of a mission and manage to get the artifact pretty early on, but find out that maybe they should put it back.
For multiversal reasons, possibly.
Yeah. Anyway, I enjoyed these.
I really did, too.
Episodes 2 and 3 being my favorite because I think episode 1. I think the main issue with episode 1 is it doesn't really have a strong character focus because
Yeah.
I get what they were going for with the arc that Noni undergoes, but I don't really see how she got there because aside from like the one conversation she has with the lion, because like most of it is fights.
Yeah. There's a lot of action, and I do think 2 and 3 were definitely the best episodes in my opinion.
2 is really good. I like was it Bakai? Was that his real name?
I believe it was Bakai.
But they call him Memnon for most of it, who is a character in like the Trojan War myths. He like his dynamic with Achilles and like
I really like that, honestly.
like him shattering their friendship because he basically leaves him for dead to fulfill his mission. Like that leads honestly to probably my favorite fight in the show. I thought the action kind of fell into a lot of the traps that other animated MCU action falls into, where like the cinematography isn't quite up to snuff.
Yeah.
Like every now and again they get some good stuff. Like I thought episode 3 was actually really good.
I agree with that.
Especially since the visitor that Baksha, I think his name was.
Yeah, and is from Kunlun, apparently.
Yeah, is from Kunlun, and not just anyone from Kunlun, but
Iron Fist.
that day's Iron Fist. And that one is actually really interesting thematically because it's a conflict between like a group who is trying to reclaim their stolen vibranium versus people who are like, well, it's been 1,000 years and it's been made into something sacred from us, and the resolution basically being, we have to find a way to compromise and coexist.
Yeah, exactly, and I think they did a good job at that, I think.
And the last one, well, I did kind of roll my eyes at, we kind of need to have like, a thread that brings this all together, like streaming type thing, where for some reason the presence of this specific axe means that Killmonger may or may not, do the things he does in the first Black Panther movie.
Yeah.
As far as like time travel stories go, this is a pretty solid one, and I like the character work done, between the prince and his attendant.
Yeah, that being said, I really did not like the Horde that much. I thought they were a little.
They're generic, but like I'm fine.
generic,
I'm fine with them being a plot device. Like,
Sure, yeah.
Maybe like if they were, going for deeper cuts, they could have just used the Brood or whatever.
That would have been really good actually, but beggars can't be choosers,
I like a lot of the art style and character designs in this.
It feels very Disney-esque. If that makes
I
sense.
do like a lot of the new Wakandan tech they show off and the way it's presented. The performances are all pretty solid. Again, what lets this down is really just that it's kind of 4 episodes. And I do think they build up enough of a through line with like,
what they have.
Like, is like going from introducing the Hattutsuraze to showing the personal cost of it to clashing cultures before finally resolving in an episode of, just leave it. Your mission to hide yourself from this world may eventually like lead to the extinction of your culture and everyone else or whatnot. And I get the narrative arc that's going for, and I think that's clever. It's just like,
It's just 4 episodes.
It's 4 episodes, so it feels like it's really like rushing to get those beats out there.
And Marvel Zombies, I think, is only 4 episodes as well, I think.
And honestly, I think Marvel Zombies being 4 episodes is more justified. Is that still coming out this year?
It's coming out next month, actually.
We're reviewing it.
Oh my god. Time is meaningless.
Yeah, it's September 24th, I believe, is when it comes out.
There isn't really a lot of explicit Black Panther stuff in here. The only one that shows up is the future Black Panther from the last episode.
The last Black Panther, written by Junie Ba from Marvel Voices Wakanda Forever issue 1.
Really?
Yeah, no, and
I think the horror from that too, actually.
But like, if you're just really a fan of the Wakandan Afro-future aesthetic, if you're if you're just really down to see more Black Panther or more of that setting and type of like world that they've built, this will serve you well.
Yeah.
And I really do think there's some strong character and thematic work here. It's
Yeah.
just, it's bite-sized compared to a lot of the other
so
offerings.
what do we have for comic offerings in the meantime?
In terms of comic offerings, well, because Killmonger ends up playing something of a thematic role here, we have Brian Hill, who's also worked on Ultimate Black Panther, and his solo Killmonger miniseries, drawn by Juan Ferreira, who is, if you've seen Juan Ferreira's art, you know what you're in for. It's a good time. And we have Christopher Priest's Black Panther run, the Black Panther run that set up a lot of his lore, including the Hatut Zeraze. We also have Reign at Dusk, which is just a very solid recent Black Panther run.
A lot of the wider surroundings of Wakanda outside of the capital.
We have World of Wakanda, another big world-building book.
It primarily focuses on Ayo and Aneka, who you might have seen.
In Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
And we have Marvel Legacy, which focuses also on a bunch of Wakandan history.
This mainly here because of the prehistoric Black Panther that appears in it.
Yeah, and we also have this Iron Fist book, probably the Iron Fist book, the Immortal Iron Fist.
By Matt Fraction with help from Ed Brubaker and drawn by David Aja. Has a whole tournament arc set up. Really good art. The Iron Fist
Reveals
run.
a bunch of Iron Fists throughout history too.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. We're going to wrap up this discussion, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace. See you guys in a bit. Well, guys, I think this has been one crazy and kind of outdated Summer Spectrum. What do you guys think?
I mean, yeah, kinda. I mean, like most people who probably like if they wanted to see these movies, they probably seen them already. But in case you're one of those people who really needed like a second opinion or whatever, we're glad to have offered that if we're what tipped you over.
Sure feels like the end of summer in regards to trying to cram as much things as possible before you have to go back to school.
It's like your homework, right?
Yeah, it's the last of your homework.
Exactly.
I mean, for those of you who actually had summer homework.
Yeah, it's true. So that wraps up.
I don't miss it.
Yeah, that wraps up Summer Spectrum. But that being said, we do have one more thing. So that being said, I'm ridiculously excited to announce that this December, the holiday special is coming back, and we're doing it bigger and better than ever. Specifically, we're doing it for charity.
We partnered with the Jimmy Fund, actually.
Yes, we have, and we're going to be doing a charity event in honor of them. It's a 3-hour charity variety show, and we're also going to be doing some other content for them as well. So stay tuned for that. I think
we'll be live streaming, right?
We'll be live streaming it here at the studio, and I'm also going to be personally going to be doing a live stream in September, or I think a little bit before Crossworlds comes out, and we're going to be just playing some games, having some fun.
God, a bunch of my friends are so excited for that. They're adding Pac-Man now.
I did see that. But
I see people convinced that the last collab is Bubsy.
Anyways, moving past that, we hope you guys are excited for these holiday plans, and we're hoping you enjoyed these episodes as much as we had make them. Hopefully the next one won't take as long to release.
Be sure to leave a like, a friendly comment, share this video with your family and friends, and subscribe to our YouTube channel with notifications on so you don't miss a single episode.
Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Threads, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitch, join our Discord server, and become a member on Patreon for just $1 a month, where you can get access to exclusive content not available anywhere else.
I need people to talk to on Discord. It's kind of lonely there right now.
Yeah, it really is. So thank you all so much for watching this 2-part episode, and until next time,
good night, everybody. Welcome back, everyone. Today we are start over.
Well, first blooper of the bunch for this filming. We were doing so well.
We have the time, thankfully. We'll get this done by 6.
Okay, reset.
Reset!
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. That was perfectly timed.